Hi, John.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I arrived in American Vogue. I think it was like the spring of 1997. I'd worked for British Vogue for 4 years.
Plum's been spending her week with Puff Daddy.
Do you know Puff Daddy?
I've not met him. No.
Oh, John, I wish you had.
Meet him on Tuesday.
Will you give me a quote about him? Well, he said to me, I'm going to work. You know, Anna rang me up and said, do you want to come and work for me? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. And the sort of biggest thing was realizing that it was a giant machine. It was a giant corporate machine. Anna, what's your office?
I remember arriving at my first fashion week at Vogue, sitting with Domenico De Sole, and Domenico explaining to me how important Vogue and Anna were to Gucci. And I remember him telling me that, look, if Anna can't be there by such and such a time, like, we'll move the show. I was like, oh my God, I've never heard of anything like that.
The rule was that you don't say no to Anna. Power. Even the Pinot and the Arnault wanted to please Anna because everybody needed to be on the cover of Vogue.
As these two big luxury houses started to acquire more brands where they would compete in the pages of Vogue. And at the time, Gucci was the really hot brand and they were spending a lot of money. Then you might have the people from LVMH say, well, but we run more business because we're LVMH. So we would just be getting all these pressure. Now, what we would do is we would turn it into like a Christie's auction. So I would be like, okay, 4 pages this issue, 7 pages next issue. What if you're going to guarantee another 8 pages? And are you going to do it again in the February issue? You know, it would be like that.
It was like a war. The amount of money we were giving them was in the 10th of million.
When that September issue came out, you know, people would weigh them. And they would drop it and hear the sound that it made because they were just so fat with advertising.
I remember Anna Wintour pulled me aside and asked me, what are you going to do with Tom?
Obviously, everybody's watching with great interest to see what he and Mr. De Sole are going to do with the Gucci billions.
We're talking billions. We're talking billions, and also, it's not only about I want more money or I want more fame, but I want to be the biggest one.
Très heureux de cette décision. Et maintenant, on va pouvoir se mettre au travail et construire avec Gucci le grand groupe de luxe dont nous avons parlé.
We want to be players in this. They're going to be very good opportunities.
Gucci, c'est une affaire qu'on a ratée, pour l'instant.
Arnault was a seasoned luxury titan, and he had already bought, you know, Dior and Louis Vuitton and all those, you know, fabulous brands. And Pinot was just at the beginning of his move to rival LVMH. Pinot realized with Gucci that he could enter that world of the luxury conglomerate. Then they bought Yves Saint Laurent, so the show was about to begin.
Tom was overjoyed because he felt that Yves Saint Laurent was the greatest designer of all time. Tom really wanted to be the creative director. He loved the brand, so I appointed Tom to be the creative director.
Oh, Yves Saint Laurent really is responsible for the way that modern women dress. made women sexy in a modern way.
Je pense que le mot élégant a été remplacé par le mot séduisant, je crois. C'est l'avenir, c'est une chose nouvelle, c'est une chose pleine d'espoir et pleine de nouveautés.
Yves was a true fashion revolutionary. When you say the word Saint Laurent, I think it conjures up an image of exquisite French elegance.
You know, it was a huge influence and huge footsteps to follow.
So Tom was really excited. I was excited at the idea, but financially the company was a joke. This was a beyond disaster. They were surviving with license. They gave license for everything, including cigarettes. There was Yves Saint Laurent cigarettes. Francois obviously was eager. He's a very quick person, wanted to move very, very super fast. So it was a lot of work.
Redefining YSL's image for the millennium is going to be one of the biggest challenges of Tom Ford's career. The legacy of YSL was so strong. He was like, you know, this god. And in walked, you know, like the cowboys or something had arrived. And that's what it felt like. Oh, the whole scene was just like the Wild West, you know? Like, who was gonna shoot who?
I'm excited about it, really excited about it.
What, you think it's gonna be good?
I hope so, Gina.
You hope so? Are you nervous? I mean, you know, this is, you're really under the gun here.
Of course I'm nervous, but you know, then again, is all I can do is do what I think I have to do.
They were now tied in a new challenge, which was how to take what they had done with Gucci so successfully and then replicate it.
He is playing to an extremely partisan crowd. There was kind of a bad vibe, toxic atmosphere. I suppose there were people who looked at it and thought, how dare he think he can take the reins at Saint Laurent?
Yves Saint Laurent in Paris is like the Eiffel Tower, and the idea that there is someone, a Texan, they call him the Texan, that come over, doesn't make a lot of people happy.
Tom's experience was shocking.
The expectations from the press were so high. I'd only been here a couple of months. I didn't feel comfortable working with the atelier. I didn't have my sea legs, so to speak. There was a lot of pressure.
Tom was very hurt by the way that some people reacted.
Yves was, at the very beginning, we were quite friendly. And then I believe when I started to deviate from what he felt was appropriate for the house, he didn't really like it very much. And I do have some letters in his hand. I remember one line was, in 13 minutes, you've destroyed 40 years of my work. So of course it was hurtful.
We were opening a new chapter in the life of Gucci, try to go from a single brand to a multi-brand company. I was a little bit concerned about the challenge to perform. If you perform, everybody likes you. If you don't perform, you get fired. So I knew that we were under pressure.
Saint Laurent, he shows up at Dior talking to Mr. Arnault.
Et moi, les circonstances ne m'ont malheureusement pas permis, pour l'instant. Pour l'instant, j'espère que je souffre de martyr. C'est épouvantable. Monsieur Arnault, si vous pouviez nous sortir de cette magouille.
Je ne sais pas, en tout cas, je pense qu'il n'est pas séduit, peut-être, par les créations de M. Tom Ford. Il faudrait lui poser les questions. J'ai été très honoré de le recevoir dans notre défilé. Voilà tout ce que je peux dire.
Gucci Group made LVMH nervous. This could be real competition very quickly. over at LVMH. Mr. Arnault has his own problems.
Of course. Bien sûr. I agree. But you say it to me and you say it to them, but it's nothing's happening. I'm telling you.
Marc Jacobs was struggling
at Louis Vuitton.
Personally, okay, we'll see. I don't regret anything I ever did in the past, but I lived pretty fast and I went out a lot, and I drank a lot and did, other substances. And I just don't want to do that today. Listen, there are a lot of people a lot safer for it.
Marc comes out of rehab, and even if it was just pure survival instinct, he perseveres. Marc is desperate for Arnault's approval, desperate, and that it's what makes him so determined.
This is a man who truly believes in the luxury business, and fashion is a luxury. He knows that there's something that people want, and he knows what it is, and he's pretty well got a handle on it, I think.
With LVMH, people were frightened on a daily basis not to be fired because once you're out, you're out.
No rings, no earrings, no navel rings, no whatever.
Marc needed to come up with a collection that really would be a success, and he went back to his roots, his New York City roots.
He gets this flash of inspiration, and he approaches one of his idols, Stephen Sprouse, a New York artist, and they have this epic brainstorm.
Everything's a collaboration nowadays. Sneakers, luggage, but I don't think I'd heard of a collaboration before that. I mean, he was really ahead of the curve there.
What if they destroyed the LV logo? What if we take this symbol of elitism and extreme wealth and turn it into something rich people would recoil from?
Marc really took it to another level. It was basically kind of a fresh, fuck you, let's stir it up. And it could have either bombed or exploded. Fortunately, it exploded.
Nobody does graffiti like Stephen Sprouse, so nobody would do graffiti on Louis Vuitton luggage but Stephen Sprouse, as far as I was concerned.
Finally, Marc, who was always ahead of his time, made his mark at the right time. We were ready for it, and the label was certainly ready for it. This is what it feels like to be Marc Jacobs. Whoa.
No,
On a good day, it doesn't. Oh my God, this is insane.
Do you feel numb?
I can't believe this. But I've been interviewing designers backstage for 15 years. I don't think I've ever quite seen it like this.
Really?
How do you explain? It was very heartening to see that he'd risen from the ashes and been able to get on that LVMH horse.
I have to do this in some kind of order, otherwise.
He's almost revitalized.
No, almost. He has.
Yeah.
No, I think he's had a huge success. He gave it youth and modernity and a wonderful sense of fashion, and now everybody wants the luggage again and they want the clothes, and I think that's entirely due to Marc, and it's very brilliant of Monsieur Arnault to hire him. Very good for fashion.
Yeah.
Bernard Arnault always believes that whatever he's done is genius. And that's why he's one of the most powerful and wealthiest people in the world, because he has conviction.
Are you proud of the work Marc Jacobs has done?
Yes. I think Marc is really fantastic for Vuitton. He's so young, so modern.
That's the first time in the house's entire history that there's a waiting list for a Louis Vuitton bag.
I don't have one of those bags, and I'm dying for one. And like, I look online, I'm like, they're so expensive still. Like, they've retained their value, you know? But like, I still want that bag.
Sales, money, originality, energy, press, everything. Yeah, for all of those reasons, that would have been a vindication of the experiment, the Marc Jacobs experiment.
LVMH reported that sales of Louis Vuitton products have soared by 40% in the first quarter. Louis Vuitton earns more than half of LVMH's profits, making it the most important brand in Bernard Arnault's empire.
During Marc Jacobs' reign at Louis Vuitton, the brand unlocked the Asian market in a really big way. Every time Marc came out with a new colorway of the handbags in particular, Asian shoppers were buying it like crazy.
China was starting to emerge after decades of communism to a controlled capitalist market.
China is now the world's third largest market for luxury brands, and it's growing exponentially year on year.
It's a global fashion world today, and no one understands that more brilliantly than Bernard Arnault.
China may well be the first economic power within the next 25 years. So it's key to be part of this growth.
At Gucci, our obsession was the numbers that Vuitton was doing. We opened the first shop in China. We were opening stores every corner.
LVMH and Gucci Group, they could see that China was going to be the golden goose. This was an untapped market of 1 billion people. They had the potential to grow from $200 million a year to $10 billion a year.
These were like masters of understanding consumerism, both bringing the world of luxury to the masses.
Pinault's ambition is to go toe-to-toe with LVMH. I think there was a lot of personal animus. I think it was a pissing contest between tycoons.
François Pinault has his chateau and his fine wines. Arnault has his chateau and his fine wines.
C'est une bouteille de 1784.
François Pinault decides to build an art foundation to house all this contemporary art that he's been collecting. Well, Arnault started collecting contemporary art too. Arnault decides he's going to have a foundation.
C'est un cadeau, la France, fait par le groupe LVMH.
There is this rivalry which is almost childish. My feeling sitting opposite Mr. Arnault is that he needs to be the biggest in the world and he cannot give up that title. It couldn't be anything else. So he travels in his private plane to New York, to Tokyo, to wherever he goes, walks in the street and visit all the stores.
Avec la Summer ici, il continue de très bien fonctionner.
He would ask for sales numbers or count clippings in magazines all over the world and send me every Monday morning a fax. They would say, Gucci has more bags in such and such magazine as opposed as Vuitton. M'en parler, you know, talk to me about that. So his control is down to counting clippings.
Pourquoi c'est important pour vous ce rituel?
J'aime beaucoup visiter les magasins. Je pense que c'est ça la réalité. Je dis toujours à mes collaborateurs, il faut être le moins possible dans les bureaux. Il faut être le plus possible dans les magasins. Les responsables sont au contact de la clientèle.
Power is fuel, and it couldn't function any other way.
It's a great honor for me to welcome you here for the inauguration of the LVMH Tower. Madame.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Arnault. President Chirac came up to me and said, you must attend the opening of the most fantastic building. But I had no idea how accurate those words were. Congratulations.
In your vast empire, there's many designers designing under other famous names. Do you think they have a hard time?
No, I think what is very interesting and good is that we have, I think, found the right designers for each brand.
Gentlemen, can you get closer a little bit together?
I feel great. I mean, of course,
totally indebted to Mr. Bernard Arnault, who realized that to take some of these houses into the 21st century would involve bringing new blood in, and he was the first, really a visionary as well as a businessman, to have brought people like myself in, Mark, Alexander McQueen, well, you know, the boys.
This way, please.
By installing Galliano at Givenchy and then moving him over to Dior and putting McQueen in Givenchy, Bernard Arnault obviously did put the cat among the pigeons. And I could never see him as benign, in the sense that the kids are pitted against each other.
I got a sense that Mr. Arnault was capable of anything for his means. They use people as pawns, like little pawns in a war.
Mr. Arnault had always set it up where that the brands worked very independently of each other. So the brands were essentially competing within.
Of course, with Galliano and McQueen, as the golden boys of British fashion, the best possible ambassadors to the world that British fashion will ever have, how could there not be a rivalry between the two of them?
The Queen was very admirative of Galliano, and I think that it was a need to be as good as, or better, than Galliano.
This is the Bet Lynch dress. I also treated it, bombed in plastic over the top for raincoats, so you get the whole ensemble.
Before I met him, I was scared he would be kind of like mean or scary. And that's why I was so relieved when he was like pleasant and giggling. He was making crude jokes all the time and swearing.
Jenny came to interview at Givenchy. She'd been working with Galliano. This was amazing for us. We were really excited to have her be part of the team.
He loved the haute couture because he was from a Savile Row tailoring background, so he was going to get the most out of that.
They're quite precise and like take the threads out and this, and I just get the scissors and go whack it off. And they go like that, and I go, it's okay, it's only clothes.
What's the difference, as you would characterize it, between you and Galliano?
Well, John's more fluid and romantic. He has a great vision for romanticizing his ideal woman. I think I'm more sort of like, I really care about a woman's independence. I don't like her to look so naive and so fragile. I like her to look more stronger, that if a man goes up to her, he's got to have real balls to go up to her.
Women want to look sexy. You know, they have fantastic waist, bust, hips, they want to show it. No one wants to hide behind shapeless clothes anymore.
Obviously, they were competitive. So Lee would be like, did John use this fabric? Did John go there? Did you do that with John? Like, he would ask those kind of questions. Galliano, if somebody brought up McQueen, he'd be like, who? Steve McQueen? And just pretend like he'd never heard of him. So they had a different way of dealing with it.
Inevitably, the younger one would be looking at the older one. John was the benchmark, the London designer going to Paris benchmark.
When you come to a Galliano show, it's just beyond fashion. It's like he gives you something that's joyous and it's just so womanly, cares so much about a woman. It's so feminine, it's so trembling, romantic.
Well, I guess we're feeling a little bit more at home, chez Dior. It's like any relationship, you have to work at it, and the more you work at it, the kind of happier you are. So I guess it's beginning to show now. It takes time, huh?
The sky is the limit. If John Galliano wanted to send a steam engine charging into a railway station. He could do it.
Galliano's shows were huge spectacles, costing more than making a movie.
Wasn't that something amazing? For 40 minutes, we're transported into another world. It's a dream world. I want to look like that, don't you? I mean, I love those clothes.
John, congratulations, John.
Yeah, we're great. Yeah, we're great.
John? Oh, I think he wanted world domination. I mean, he always thought he deserved to be able to do all of his dreams.
John is about pure creativity, but also, you know, he likes to do products that sell. Since he arrived, sales have tripled. So what he does is really not only pure creativity, but also what the ladies, the consumers want and wear.
Bernard Arnault always made me feel like he was absolutely 150% behind Galliano. That was apparent. You know, oh, it's the genius of John. He's just so great.
Bernard Arnault. He said when I was hired that I was his horse.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in looks or what, but he said I was his horse he betted on.
Yeah.
And
he bet on you to restore the health of this label.
In a way, like it's better than it's ever been for McQueen at Givenchy, right? Because this is a budget he's never had before, but he wasn't getting half of the budget that John was getting at Dior. Dior was spending 10 times, 20 times more on those collections.
We had to be very resourceful.
We use material that you will find in a hardware store because you couldn't find what you need. And Alexander was expecting me to go that far.
I don't feel there was jealousy. Jealousy is something that's very destructive, but rivalry can spur you on to greater heights. And I think that's what was going on.
We went beyond. We went beyond.
I remember as the girls were lining up before they went out, I remember Jenny and I looking at each other and Jenny going, wow, man, you know, Galliano would love to have done this.
I think it's been great. John Galliano and Alexander both did fabulous collections, and I was particularly pleased to see how far McQueen had come, really a tour de force.
It was clear that he was going his own path. To heck with the history. This is Alexander McQueen's Givenchy.
His collection's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And still, Mr. Arnault was like, you know, Givenchy.
I think that he really appreciated Alexander, but I don't think that Givenchy had the place in the hierarchy that Dior and Vuitton did.
It was really like the runt of the litter, you know, like, and then we have Givenchy. So whoever was at Givenchy didn't get the same love as anyone who would ever be at Dior. Simple as that.
He seemed like he was trying very hard to please Arnault, but whatever he gave wasn't quite enough. I do remember how heartbroken Lee could be when he felt he'd given so much.
He's got great vision, but his vision of what I was like was the same vision as what John was like. Maybe John was more pliable than I was.
We were trying to do something that was innovative, exciting, and then to be met with sort of stony-faced reality telling us that actually we don't have enough color, or we don't have enough, you know, straight skirts, or we don't have enough boring clothes in there.
He became extremely frustrated. He knew that his creative potential was not being optimized on.
There was frustration, and then it became resentment and disrespect.
What do you have to do to get these French to wise up?
Be yourself. If they don't like you, too bad. Tough shitty.
Doesn't bug you too much?
Don't give a shit. I do what I do. They like it or lump it. If they don't like it, they can sack me. Fine as that.
He was in the belly of the beast, and he appreciated the material advantages, but he was furious at the selling his soul aspect of it.
He got really bitter. Like, he was feisty before, but then he really got bitter.
You're pretty passionate. I mean, you put your soul out there on the line when you do a show. I know you do. I mean,
Yeah, I do, but then you've got to feel the appreciation back. You can only keep on going on for so long.
When you try and impress a father figure and you're not getting the affirmation that you're looking for, perhaps you can look somewhere else.
Yves Saint Laurent was really this big hot potato. It was a big burden on Tom because obviously he was doing Gucci, but he really was eager to reposition the brand where it belonged.
Sometimes what you were thinking was going to work doesn't work. The most difficult thing has probably just been learning to split my time and split my brain between Gucci and Saint Laurent. It's hard to really sometimes keep your focus and to say, look, why am I doing this? It's hard.
So what happened was Tom was able to go into the archives and get the inspiration. It represented in a more modern way the African collection that would be done before by Yves Saint Laurent. The Chinese collection, he just remade them, so he was inspired by that. And they were really very successful.
What Tom Ford did for Saint Laurent was so grown up. I think he was so smart to differentiate Gucci from Saint Laurent. This was just really chic, feminine clothes. I thought it was sensational.
We weathered the storm. It was a painful time.
The best satisfaction was when the sales jumped that week more than 100%. That means people are responding to what you do, people like it, people are starting to buy it, and that's exciting.
The fact that they had now a very successful YSL, big deal, you know. Instinctively, I think that we were all very curious of what was going on with Pinot, Del Sole, and Ford. Obviously, they were trying to do something that no man had done before besides Mr. Arnault.
The strategy of the fashion business excites me and interests me a great deal and is more and more part of my day and more something that I'm interested in.
There are those who say that you might want to buy Versace. There are those who say you might want to buy Calvin Klein.
We are obviously looking at other acquisitions. We have nothing to announce this moment. We look for companies where we believe that our expertise could enhance the value of that company and thus enhance the value of Gucci Group.
This is where I'm from. This is my home, and this is what I love. I mean, I work in Paris, but I love it here. I don't want to leave here.
He's always missing London, missing his family. And I guess he thrived off the coolness factor of London.
This is what the rest of the world wants but can never have, and this is why there's so many British designers at these big houses, because we're always trendsetters. When we don't follow it, we create it.
Why did you go to Givenchy after you already created your own name?
For one reason, the money was good. But then what I do with the money from Givenchy, I put it straight back into McQueen, and it helps me employ people from McQueen to build my own company up.
His label is always where he's doing his most exciting work.
My heart was more in McQueen than it was in Givenchy, because I didn't have much love for the brand. It wasn't Dior, and it wasn't Saint Laurent.
Bernard Arnault brought this young designer in, and he didn't do it for my reason, he did it for his own. This is what I'm really about.
His shows in London were pretty legendary. His set designs and his themes.
Things went missing at Givenchy and then showed up on the McQueen catwalk. The manutention, which was where all the fabrics and leathers and things were stored, would be raided quite regularly. Sometimes he comes up with an idea at Givenchy and says, oh, you know, I'm not going to give that to Givenchy, I'm going to save that. I'm going to use it for McQueen.
His own brand got the best. Normal.
I think that's the first time tonight that I was blown away by my own show. That man and machine thing at the end is... I'm still in shock, really. That's the first time I cried at my show, so... Yeah.
It was incredible. That was really... It was just such a moment. Truly one of the great visionaries of fashion of the past century. But to imagine that any one individual is going to be responsible not only for designing their own label, but then also designing for a legendary house, the pressure is unthinkable.
In the 6 years that I worked for Lee, we would do 6 shows a year. And that wasn't one every 2 months. It was sort of nicely spaced out. You would have haute couture followed very quickly by the ready-to-wear London, the ready-to-wear Paris. It was one after the other. It was constant pressure. And after each show, the highs and lows of working on the show.
Sorry. Yeah, I know, but he's like really tired.
Yeah, I'm alright. It's just my legs went wobbly. It's alright.
Should I get you a glass of water or something?
Needing to keep that artificially inflated, otherwise you'd crash.
Sit down a bit. Sorry.
What? The excitement.
Okay. It made me look at things in a really clear light when I was going through all this, to tell yourself, this is too much work. Something I had to give.
It was clear that the writing was on the wall and it wasn't going to last for much longer, him at Givenchy. But he needs to be able to still support his own house.
It's such an expensive thing to run this company.
He didn't look at Marc Jacobs and John Galliano and think, I want to be like them. I want LVMH involved in my company. On the contrary.
I wanted to be successful, I wanted to be self-sufficient.
But he has to find a plan. He's not gonna just quit Givenchy unless he has a plan.
There was this big fashion party. Everybody who was anybody in fashion was there. John was there, and McQueen was there. And McQueen heard that Domenico De Sole was there.
I just remember meeting him, and at some point he asked me to take a picture with me out of the blue. And then he turned around and he said to me, by the way, I want to send it to Bernardo. No. He was a joker. He was really a wonderful person. And he wanted to show Bernardo know that he didn't need him.
He started talking to Dom and Tom and saying, you know, what can we do? He had been pouring his Givenchy money into the company, but he still didn't have the business structure that the Gucci group could provide for him. He needed them. He needed investment.
Every time we're trying to buy a company, we're always doing it secretly because we were afraid that LVMH would jump in and over a bit higher than we did.
They have spies everywhere. In every group, there is a spy for the other.
So they negotiated this. They had code names. They were meeting in the back room of Brown's. They had the lawyers there. And LVMH had no idea this was going on, that they were going to steal McQueen from Givenchy and take a part of his own brand.
We were just waiting to find out if she was going to go there or not.
He had a reputation of being the enfant terrible of fashion, being erratic, that is very difficult. It was very outspoken. There was discussion about drugs, too, that had been a problem in the past. I remember that being a concern and discussing it with Tom. So it was a risk.
I came to London to attend the Voss show. He had a big contract, Alexander, at Givenchy. That contract was up for renewal, and negotiations were stalled by Alexander. I showed up early, and I felt desperate.
I did, when I walked in, saw Tom Ford, who was attending the show. And, you know, it doesn't take much to add things up.
We needed to make a decision. You wouldn't take something that didn't work as just for the sake of tumbling my nose to Arnault. Tom and I wanted to make sure that McQueen could deliver. Mesmerized, and his imagination was immense. I don't know how to describe it. I really loved what I saw.
Alexander was at his peak, really. This man, who's by now, what, 30, is just on a trajectory that is something else.
Me, the insider, watching that show and thinking, damn, I knew I was going to lose him.
This is the man.
Right.
Turn the camera here. This is the man.
So we invested in his company.
It's handbags at 20 paces between Givenchy and Gucci as l'enfant terrible of fashion, Alexander McQueen, jumps ship. The Italian house has signed a deal with the British designer who will develop his own label into a luxury brand under the Gucci banner.
This was a huge disappointment. Huge.
LVMH went bananas. Bernardo Arnault went bananas.
François Pinault est tout sourire. Filmé cet après-midi lors d'une assemblée d'actionnaires, le patron ne cache pas sa satisfaction. Il a marqué un point important.
Mr. Arnault took this all quite personally.
I think they even thought about canceling his show at Givenchy, which was due to show in a week, just to spite him.
Alexander had planned a lovely large venue, and we were told that the venue was canceled and that the show was going to be held in-house and that the press was not going to be allowed to attend. He was like, what the fuck? You know?
Lee really enjoyed being able to leave LVMH and just go, haha. Do you know?
Au revoir, Givenchy.
Alexander's choice to partner with Gucci Group made sense. They're fashion people. The LVMH machine at that time was very corporate. They wouldn't be considered necessarily fashion experts. They were business people. Domenico Del Sole and Tom Ford. I think they gave him what he wasn't getting at LVMH, frankly.
You know, you're like a king. You know, everybody applauds you, everybody celebrates you. Because, you know, you live in the dreams, in the world of dreams. But it's just an illusion. The tough part is not to get up there. The tough part is to stay there and deal with pressure. Deal with constantly being creative. They want a new vibe, they want a new direction, they want a new trends, again and again and again and again. It is terrifying. And if you cannot keep up, suddenly, just like that, you're gone.